All right, welcome to Legendary Upside YouTube channel. I was sitting around and drafting some teams on DraftKings and thought I could probably make content out of this.
I was gonna say, I knew where your mindset was going. It was like, I'm sure that's a healthy mindset, which is also the thing. I'm sitting here like drafting too, and Pat, you like hit up our Discord. You're like, anyone want to hop on the stream? I was like, I am already drafting.
That's right. I'm already drafting, and yes, it's maybe not the healthiest attitude to immediately want to turn my drafts into content, except this is a good time to do it because we just launched the Legendary Upside DraftKings dynamic rankings, which was something I wasn't sure we were going to be able to do because they gave us like 2 days to make it, and luckily Phil Manor was the wizard. He got in the lab, and we also had to. This is a somewhat different format, so I want to show off this new tool and rip some DraftKings drafts with you guys. Maybe we'll venture over and try to do a big mitten or something too on Underdog. But for starters, I just kind of want to do this $20 contest over on DraftKings. Have you guys played this at all, and what are your thoughts on it if you have, relative to the Underdog offerings?
I got in literally the very first one. The contest opened. I was going to bed. I was like registering for contests for the next slate, and then I saw that they had just dropped playoff best ball. So like, I got to get in these streets, and I had like
I think I did to go to bed.
Yeah,
actually, no, I can't sleep.
I wish I could have stayed up and done more because the opening ADP was is wild. And it was pretty frustrating, to be honest, because I kept being in rooms where lunatics would blow my stuff up and I'd see someone else with just an absolute monster. And I'm like, this sucks. I'm not getting any of these. And so I think I got 1 or 2 teams that I was pretty happy with at the end of it. But seeing so many people get such monsters off the rip really dissuaded me from diving in more. I'll probably get a few more down on DK, but I think I still have less than 10 down over there, which is nothing for my volume.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the show. I saw right when it opened too. I drafted one. It wasn't quite when ADP was like, I literally wasn't in the first draft with you, but I was pretty early. ADP was really bad. Yeah, and I mean, you can build just insane teams, but also
you can build insane teams.
You can build insane teams, but the reason you can build insane teams, to use Zach's highway metaphor, is someone is clearing out a lot of lanes, swerving everywhere, and destroying half the draft in the process. And you just have to run good to not be that person. Like, there are some measures you can take to be like,
I've run very good. I've had a lot of fun in these, man.
You post these teams in our group chat all the time. I think I've run better than Zach, though, because I've built some really good teams, all in the 4.
I love this fucking thing.
But the thing I was going to say is,
building monster
the reason you see all these people building monsters is because there are people building terrible teams. And it sucks that, like, for Zach, it sucks that you run bad and that happened. But, like, you are basically gaining a lot of EV by having all these dummies drafting, and your payment in that is variance. You will just have to draft some bad teams, but in the long run, I see people building trash teams. And I know in the long run that's better for me, but there are some drafts where I'm like halfway through, I'm like, I'm building a juggernaut, and someone just screws you. And you're like, well, I have almost no outs or no outs, but like long run, it's worth it. These teams can get really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I've built such good teams to start, and just like the teams that I want, like, will fall to me. Like I shared one with you guys today where I took like Josh Allen, and then I think I got Kittle, and then I got like, I don't know, it was absurd. I got like Josh Allen, Kittle, Cook, and then I got Kincaid. Yeah, that's what it was.
Like, you got every notable bill plus the most likely tight end to play in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I guess, so people who have not played it yet, I mean, like we said, they literally dropped it Monday morning or Sunday night, maybe, I don't remember. They have technically 2 extra roster spots, one of which is a mandatory tight end, and one of which is like the bench spot that corresponds with the tight end. And right. Zach, I don't know if you've like changed your thoughts on this.
And it's 6 starting roster spots. It's a tight end. It's not that one of the wide receivers becomes tight end. It's
extra one.
There's an additional, yeah.
Zach, I don't know if you changed your thoughts a ton on this, but like the way I view the extra tight end is like, it's just an extra running back slot. It correlates in the same way in that like you still have this onesie spot that you have to push through. The positional dynamics might be different than receiver or running back, but like as far as the way I think about how to build a roster with the spot, I maybe there's like a slightly more nuanced take you could have to it, but I do just think of it as like, oh, you want these like maybe you can build opposite conference. You'd love to get team stack, especially since they correlate a little higher within a game. But that's how I think of it.
Yeah, I think, arguing anything other than just treat it kind of like you treat the running back spot on underdog is just semantics. Like, yeah, there's these little differences, but like if you just told someone who's brand new to this format and they've played some underdog, but they hadn't played any DraftKings, like tight end is basically like running back. Like it's really important to have that on your Super Bowl team. You're setting them up for success there just with that little bit of advice. So.
Yeah, also, but the start clock is 2 minutes long.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
freaking unbearable.
That is extremely painful. Yeah.
They do have a draft board now, though, guys. They have a draft.
Also, we are our tool. It's coded up for the colors of the draft board, right? I've only drafted on mobile, so I don't remember the draft
I don't
board
even
colors.
know how Phil did that. I didn't.
I know. I saw it. And I was like, that's such a.
And I was like, this guy just gets it, man.
Yep.
It's so nice that it's different than the underdog one. You immediately know you're on the right tool.
I know. It blew my mind.
Shout out to Phil. Phil's a beast.
Phil's doing a great job. I had both tabs open for underdog and for a DraftKings one, and I noticed the colors were off. It was like the first time I would open the DraftKings one, and I was like, "Whoa, Phil, all the colors are off." And then it like clicks. I mostly draft on mobile, and it clicked, and I was like, "Dude, Phil, just taking the layups. This is a great one."
So good. So the tight end thing, I think, is important. Yes, it's like running back, but it also is like this extra thing you have to keep in mind of a position that you have to fill in the Super Bowl and in round one. I think the other key distinctions between this and underdog is that you're looking at it like all of these tournaments that I've seen. Maybe there's basically every tournament that I've tried to enter on DraftKings is 1 out of 6 advance out of round one, not 2 out of 6. So, and I know underdog has some like 3 out of 6 stuff on some of them. They kind of like mess around with that a little bit. It seems pretty standard on DraftKings. It's just 1 out of 6 every time. So that's going to change things a little bit, especially with 2 extra spots and especially with a field that is, I think, more aggressive about trying to get out of round one. So it just sets you up to where you could probably need to think about that a little bit more. What are your thoughts here? We could go Debo and then Purdy.
That's what I would do.
Me too.
Okay. That is also what the tool suggests. So we go Debo, and then it's immediately gonna. Oh, it actually likes Jackson if he's there, but he's not. So we'll go Purdy.
Yeah, that is what I would do. Yeah.
Technically speaking, if you can just pick anyone you want.
So someone really sharp must have came up with this tool.
This tool that was designed to replicate Sack's brain.
Weird. This thing keeps agreeing with me. Oh my god.
Some of the higher stakes ones have different advanced structures. There's still nothing like 3 out, like the mitten 4 or whatever. One of the mittens is literally 3 out of 6 advanced. Like those ones are like you are jamming the chalkiest Super Bowl matchup, the Ravens 49ers.
Yeah.
Nothing. It doesn't seem like even the high stakes is anything close to that on DraftKings. But some of them are like. So one of them was like 1 out of 6, 2 out of 6, and then 1 out of 4 or something like.
Yeah, no. Some of the stuff on DraftKings and the higher stakes stuff, it's like 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, and then like 2 out of 5.
Yeah, there's
so
some
it's actually much harder to get out of round one.
Yep, there's some weird stuff, but I think all of the 20, the 4s, the 3s, and probably some of the other ones too. As far as I've looked, those are all straight up 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6. I think.
Yeah, I think that's what this is. 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, and then it's 100 and something person final. So you do, I think, want to play this somewhat similarly to the Gauntlet, where getting that really powerful Super Bowl roster into the final round will be very, very powerful, and it'll be powerful in round 3 as well. Having a live conference championship, I think it'll be even more powerful than on DraftKings in some ways because people aren't really building for it as much. So
they're definitely not. People aren't building for much in these contests.
They're not really building for anything, to be honest. They're building to get out of round one. I think is what you would say.
one cool thing that I think we could highlight here is the tool cutting off Ayuk because of his ADP. But if we slid back the cutoff, I'm assuming Ayuk is So see, on Underdog, Ayuk would obviously be above Kittle, but here on DraftKings, because we prioritize tight end so much more, Kittle has, about 2 points difference in his leg up score than Ayuk. So he's like pretty heavily prioritized there. Of course, I jinxed it, and he doesn't make it back to us here.
Well, Ayuk did, but Kittle didn't.
Right.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take our Ayuk consolation prize here, and then we'll need to figure out what we're going to do at tight end later. Most likely.
What are you guys thinking for our second pick?
Gibbs seems fine. I think the other way you can play it is through Pacheco. I think both are viable.
Pacheco leaves us with like Noah Gray though, right? Like we have no.
We could. I mean,
that's fine. Like that's.
We could try to do like Njoku.
Yeah, the other thing. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I think we can also do is try to play it for like a Baltimore Super Bowl with Andrews. And then I think one of the most overpowered players as far as like where he is in the ranks relative to what he should be able to do is Dalton Schultz with, Noah Brown. Looks like he is going to be out this week, or he's trending out anyway. Yep. So you've got a pretty consolidated passing game there with probably the third or fourth best pure passer in the league, in CJ Stroud at home in a dome. Like I kind of love Dalton Schultz.
I've taken Dalton Schultz several times in these. So I'm open to that for sure.
I mean, we could also get likely as well. I mean, we'd be spending a lot on bye week players, but like, point is, if we make these teams to the final, especially in this one where it's hard to do so, it's the nuts. And even like, let's say we went Chiefs route, I don't think it's terrible to take it's hard to advance these teams. If we get here with 49ers, like an incredible 49ers stack, Pacheco and Noah Gray, dude, maybe how many times do we see Kittle go 3 for 40 scoreless and Kelsey also probably go 3 for 40 scoreless? You get 2 points from Noah Gray. He catches 1 for 10. And you're like, yeah, maybe it's a low scoring tight end slate and we literally have the nuts for the rest of the game. So be it. Fine with us.
Yeah. I mean, if the Chiefs aren't that weird of a Super Bowl and plenty of people are building for it. But I mean, if you were to get Chiefs 49ers and you show up with Purdy, Debo, and Ayuk
and Pacheco.
And Pacheco, you feel pretty good about.
You feel very good about that. Yeah. Sure, you'd love to also have another one, but
So what are you guys thinking here?
We could go. Really we could go Gus Likely and just already have the Super Bowl nuts, and we're mostly working on it.
And then now it's just advance, and we just and because we're kind of so focused on advancing at this point, we can throw the rules out the window and just take the best players after we go like us.
I think technically we need one more. Only need one more player. Throw Bateman, last round pick. Don't even spend it on Beckham. Don't spend it on anyone else.
We need it. What we need is, do we need anyone else?
Yeah, we need a running back for our 49ers team, obviously, because we don't have CMC. So from here on out.
But we don't.
We literally don't. No. Pacheco will take the Gus Edwards, they'll flip, and Pacheco won't be in there. So we need a flex.
We're good.
But honestly, do we even need a flex? I think that you can take a 0 at flex, especially because we got a bunch of high projected pieces. So the way I look at it is at the end of this draft, if we're concerned about advancing, we just say, fuck it, we'll take a 0 at flex, in the Super Bowl. Because like we said, not a lot of people are building for the Super Bowl on DraftKings.
And not a lot of people are getting through there with how hard it is to get there.
This is going to be very hard. I mean, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball here.
Yeah, with 2 bye week teams. So I think we can totally comfortably zero out our flex in the Super Bowl and focus on advancing, especially if there's any reasonably projected players left there. If it's just dust balls that aren't going to hit our lineup in the first round anyway, then sure, we can take a.
I mean, I tell you, I think we're taking 12th round Aguilar is what I would say.
I was going to say maybe Babe. I've seen Babe make the 12th round. I think I still probably want that flex spot, but I do agree that it's worth considering. We have the 2 highest projected receivers in the Super Bowl. There's only 2 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, and obviously not CMC, but you can't get these receivers and also have CMC. So we have the next best possible running back. I still think I'd probably throw in an Aguilar there to try and like close out beating some teams by a point or two. But like you said, Sack, from here on out, we're literally just like highest projected points advancing
So
players.
what jumps out to you for that purpose? I mean, we've got
quarterback. I'm waiting till the end.
Yeah,
like
I think
Stafford goes late, or Tua goes so late in these. Do those? Who cares?
Yeah, Tua goes late.
Rachaad White's fine, but I mean, we want to prioritize the wide receiver position ideally. So I'm perfectly happy with Godwin here, like doing like a little Godwin Rachaad White and play into that Philly game.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is what I would say the tool, if you guys are using this, it's different enough on DraftKings compared to Underdog that the tool, we just lost Rachaad White. The tool doesn't really like get the situation here. It doesn't, we didn't have enough time to kind of dial it in for this. You need to basically be like, I need to advance tool. Thanks for the help, but I'm going to start searching for players. And
yeah, I mean the tool. We took the top player every spot at the tool. I think, or maybe we were like 2 off from
up until now, but now we need to diverge from it pretty substantially. What here? Let me just go.
I mean, we should have some Dolphins
jumps out
here.
here.
That, like, I get that game sucks, but also the Dolphins are probably the like 3rd most likely team to score 30 points in any given game. Dolphins go so late on DraftKings.
We could do Chris Godwin still, Raheem Mostert.
That seems reasonable to me.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Schultz is still here, by the way.
I like Schultz too.
We actually are covered at running back. I mean,
Yeah,
tight
let's do
end,
Schultz
don't
over
have.
Mostert.
Is there another Schultz is like later in ADP? Is there another receiver that like is worth? I mean, Devonta is.
He might not play.
I don't think that. I mean,
Well, we could go Goddard. Goddard's a.
yeah, Goddard's fine as well.
Do you like Goddard or Schultz straight up?
I like Schultz because I don't think Goddard. I think Goddard has a worse quarterback throwing to him, and that quarterback's missing his middle finger, which
Devonta was full practice. He's playing. If you
Okay.
just for those considering.
Okay. Yeah, I'm concerned that Devonta's gonna have Marcus Mariota throwing to him by halftime.
Also possible.
I've done a bunch of Eagles stacks because you can just get the whole offense.
I know early
So I hope
in
you're
drafts
extremely
I
wrong.
was early in drafts I was like
I can't really even articulate how wrong I hope you are.
yeah, no. Early in drafts, I was like, Eagles are fine. They feel appropriately priced. And now, like you said, Pat, like AJ Brown slides so late. Like Jalen Hurts goes so late. I'm like, obviously, I need to start with the parlay of these guys being healthy, which is like not that fun parlay to be sweating immediately. But like,
Right.
if you hit that parlay, these guys are massively undervalued. And I do think like they all appear to be playing.
They do. Yeah. So, okay. So the tool didn't love the Godwin pick, and it's saying we shouldn't do the Schultz pick, which I'm actually surprised about because it doesn't mind Stroud.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah.
Well, it doesn't mind Stroud because we don't have our quarterback yet. It just knows
don't
we
have a
need a second.
quarterback,
It doesn't
yeah.
care who it is, and it minds
That's
the
what
skill
it is.
position Texans because we have 2 AFC teams. So
That's what it is.
It's in its mind. It's very correct on that.
Yeah, we're breaking rules at this
That
point.
actually makes a lot of sense. So the tool's like, naked Stroud's okay, but don't take Schultz. And we're like, shut the fuck up.
So we got Schultz. Did all of our Eagles go?
I think they did. Yeah, we don't have any Eagles left.
Jaden Reed, not a bad.
Jaden
round
Reed,
one.
come on down. Welcome to the squad.
Yeah. I like that. Stroud was also a pretty good pick here.
What else is a quarterbacks? Like truly, like how many more points do you think Stroud projects for than like everyone but Mason Rudolph, essentially?
But we've stacked it. I guess we're
true.
about to stack Jaden Reed and Love, so
I strongly prefer Stroud to Jaden Reed. Like you can
Wouldn't
sell
like
me on Joe Flacco versus Stroud though, just because how lights out Flacco has been. But I think with the stack, we go with Stroud. You know.
yeah, that's kind of
sure.
what I'm thinking. Anyone else as far as the skill position player? You guys like Jaden Reed? We could go like Elijah Moore and Flacco if you wanted to go that route.
No,
Yeah,
I think
I
I'd
think
rather
Jaden Reed's stronger than Elijah Moore.
Reed, Stroud, and we still have. Yeah, this is my pick as Reed Stroud. We still have one more, one off, and then our loser scrub from the Ravens.
And then our last Raven, yeah.
So the tool also does not want to recommend Reed because we are going completely off
That's
the rails.
That's our third NFC team. So yeah, we're going to be sacrificing some pieces here. But again, in DraftKings, like we're going to get to the second round and people are going to have all kinds of dead roster spots on there from playing teams that face each other in the first round, etc.
Yeah, this is one of those one. Like generally, we don't really want to be building just to get to round 2. But if you're showing up with a full 49ers Ravens, and I have full 49ers Ravens that get there with Rashad Bateman, Juwan Jennings, and Elijah Mitchell. This isn't that. This is much stronger than that. So if we get this to round 2,
we'll bend over backwards to advance this one round.
Yeah.
We will do anything because not only like we talked about, it's the best team in this. Like this would be an incredible team to have in the Super Bowl. But even then, like getting Debo, Purdy, Ayuk, Edwards, and Likely into the next rounds will make our team, though maybe light on players, stacked with good players that not many other people are going to have. So like it compounds every round. Obviously, the last round's most important, but it will compound for the next 2 rounds or whatever.
So we have 2 picks left. I'm putting Aguilar in. Bateman around. Bateman's around. Andrews is here. I think is Justice here. Justice is gone.
I don't know that we want to do Andrews since we have Likely. I think
yes, correct.
Yeah, we're making the bet that.
And also, Andrews is a buy player. He is not probably playing until the Super Bowl, I'd imagine. So
we could do Justin Watson.
I'd probably just go like George Pickens. Just give us another player who.
Well, Pickens, I think, is gone, but.
Unless Pickens he's at the top.
I mean, CEH.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
What do you think about CEH versus Watson?
Well, we have Pacheco. So if we're just trying to advance, I like Pickens better.
Yeah, let's do Pickens then.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is another one where obviously we have our Raven here, but we can't build a full Chiefs lineup with the team we have, right? I mean, I guess we go like double Chiefs. I don't really at this point care to have Chiefs on this team. Like it just feels too thin.
That's just
it's a pipe dream to like
throwing the Chiefs away as well. It's literally just 49ers Ravens in round 2. That's all we care about.
Yep.
Everything
so like at that point, like I get like Pickens or Deontay, who would have been a fine pick too, are volatile, but like they're projected for more points than Justin Watson, and we want projected fantasy points.
Are you Bateman, Aguilar, or Deontay Johnson here?
Bateman. I'm going Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman.
Yeah, okay.
There's an argument though to like what Zach said. Like, do we just forego the flex given how many projected points? Like, we might just not need it.
But I'd do that more if it was like if Dalton Schultz is the last guy there instead of Deontay Johnson. Not that like in general Deontay Johnson is gonna not project better than Schultz, but it's like, dude, that could be a game with like 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds if they stay in Buffalo. So not terribly confident in there being fantasy points in that game. And usually I'm not a weather bro, so like if I care about the weather, like I promise it's serious.
Yeah. All right, we got the number 1 pick here from the 6 hole to the 1 hole.
I was gonna say I like both of those spots. One, I think just double tapping gives you like, especially on DraftKings, like not having to be entirely worried. Like obviously people still pick between you and your next pick, but not having to sweat a single player between picks on DraftKings is very nice.
It is nice. It's also nice for streaming. Yeah, so I just put McCaffrey already in the tool.
Yeah. At what rate, like say you had like Zach, I was gonna say, Zach, you have like hundreds of drafts done, but even then you're only getting a 1/6 of any pick on average. At what rate would you take McCaffrey at the 101? Like if you had 5.
Oh, I'm gonna tell him myself, because I had been saying like I've literally never not taken him 101, but there was a big mitten the other day where I don't know, I had a feeling it was gonna get funky. with who was in our room, and
You almost named names and then didn't.
I took Lamb 101, and I gave a gift.
Who'd you take?
I took CD 101.
Okay, all right.
And so I gave a gift of CMC to Pete at the 102.
Gave it to Pete. People say the Influencer 101 is corrupt. The Influencer 102, but still gets McCaffrey.
The Influencer McCaffrey 102. Yeah,
that's the only I've done. Like almost. I mean, we're over 800. We're pushing 900 drafts now, and that's the one time that I did it. And it was purely a read on people in the room and what was going to happen to. I wasn't going to be able to build a coherent Super Bowl team, in my opinion, if I took McCaffrey there, just with what I thought was going to play out. And it kind of did. And Pete got stuck between the rock and the hard place then, where he's having to go into Chiefs with his CMC, and Chiefs are also the optimal choice for me based on the teams that are available and coherent for the highest odds. And so
how did it go for him? Did he build, like, was he still able to build the correct?
All right. He did the best he could. It was just like, I didn't want to be in that spot where it's like, I did the best I could, you know?
Yeah.
So what, did you just get to double tap? Did you get to double tap Dallas with your next pick? Was that the plan?
Yep.
Like, I know no one's reaching that far on those.
Yeah, I got the super chalk, CD Pollard Lamb, and then stuff fell because the weird stuff that I anticipated happened. And so it was basically like I got to push one of those guys into the fourth round because I got a player that normally go in the third. So yeah, it worked out beautifully for me to pat myself on the back there.
Nice. I just want to give a little just some thoughts and prayers for Gerardo here. So is it just me or is there growling sound? And then no one else
Oh no.
So I don't know what's going on.
You'd like to think that he has like earbuds or headphones in while he's listening. He's like, is it me or is there a growling sound? And he takes them out and he's like, I still hear it. Like, it's a very good horror movie.
Keep yourself safe, Gerardo.
Yeah, I hope you're all right. So this is an interesting one. There's a lot. This is that draft, actually. I don't know. Maybe you should have given us a heads up here, Sack, that all the 49ers are going to get sniped immediately. There's not a single 49er left for us.
This is fine, though. With all the 49ers gone, we have plenty of Chiefs available to us.
Yeah, I mean, we could go Kelsey Mahomes.
That feels like an easy pick.
Yep, I think you do that. Because with the tight end being this is like Kelsey's saving grace. It's like Kelsey probably hopped on Underdog and saw his ADP sliding and people clicking Rashee Rice ahead of him, and he was feeling really self-conscious. And then DraftKings released their contest, and Kelsey's ADP is back up, and so dude can feel better about himself.
So this was the top of the tool selection here. Kelsey, and then I assume Mahomes will jump up significantly. He's still below Dak and Rashee Rice, but I think we don't tempt fate.
Yeah, this is a read the room kind of spot. It's like, we are not getting Mahomes back if we let him go. Someone will take a naked Mahomes gladly and then stack him up with Tyreek Hill.
It makes more sense to do it as well. That's the thing. Like this Purdy Kittle drafter, if he has Mahomes come back and he could go, Pacheco Mahomes.
The Debo Ayuk drafter especially, right?
Yeah. They're not going to let Mahomes come back.
Yeah, both the teams on the wrap, four picks in a row, are extremely incentivized, or somewhat incentivized to extremely incentivized to take Mahomes. Like, the room was not giving us this.
No, definitely not. This is a nice comment here. Pat and Sackreligious on the same shows, like DK Metcalf and AJ Brown at Ole Miss together. That's a little unfair to leave out that Kyle's like Elijah Moore.
I was gonna say, who's like? Oh, wasn't Dawson Knox on that team?
I mean, yeah, the triumvirate of us is just, we're almost as equally muscle bound as well. So
almost. Yeah, I think are you the same height as Elijah Moore?
Me? What is he? 5'9"?
Yeah.
I'm close.
Weird to get Kyle.
I'm close.
Yeah, fair enough. I just thought it'd be funny it was more of they're the same height. So it was a dig, but not in a talent level.
I was gonna say, I've never met you, Sack, but Pat, you're definitely not AJ Brown.
I was going to say I'm not. I'm also not AJ Brown or DK Metcalf.
Oh, see, I forgot the other guy was DK Metcalf too.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right, Kyle. I guess I'm not AJ.
I know. Yeah.
I will have you know, I put out a respectable 4.540 though when we did that for a one of my home leagues. We did a combine day like before the draft, and I was I was working on the 40 time too. I was pretty happy with that one. 4.5. I mean, I'm also not lugging around like 220 pounds of muscle like these guys are putting up.
Lugging around. Yeah, it's a real burden for them. So I think Pacheco went. So where does that leave us here? We could go Jake Ferguson. He's pretty high up.
Go Gibbs as well because we need a running back to get through the bye, and we could also use that as an out to Lions stack. Lions are probably probably the second most likely team to play San Francisco.
I
like that. You into that, Zach?
Yeah, I'm very into that. The other thing that I like about Gibbs, and I know this isn't like it's not perfect because we definitely prefer getting wide receivers, and like a lot of the value I see.
Sorry, what are we doing for our second pick though?
Yeah, we're in kind of a weird spot. I mean, we could just take an advanced rate player, given that we know how many goobers we're going to be taking later.
Yeah, Nico Collins seems fine. Mike Evans seems fine. I think I kind of lean more Nico Collins.
Sure.
Because Nico also opens up, if we want to do like Schultz or Singletary as advanced rate players, they'll go a little later. The thing I was going to say about Gibbs is a lot of the value in Gibbs, I think, is that it opens up having Goff who goes late if you need a quarterback, but that doesn't really play for us here. And it also opens up double tapping the running back position through Detroit and just playing like they're going to win, and you get David Montgomery. But again, that's less valuable for us because it's really only value in the first round where we've got to get CMC through the bye. But those are the things that I consider when I'm thinking about Detroit is like, if I really need the extra running back firepower or, quarterback firepower, like I really like them. If I'm doing like a Ravens thing and the teams that I have don't really have running back help, like I kind of like the Lions for that.
Yeah. The other move was we could have pivoted to the Ravens, but it was a little tricky.
Yeah, even if we pivot to the Ravens, though, we're not looking at them as a Super Bowl team. So.
Yeah,
whereas our Lions could be a factor. Yeah. Our Lions could be a factor in our potential Super Bowl. Ravens can't be.
I'm more likely to do that on Underdog than DraftKings. Number one, most of the Underdog stuff is 2 of 6, and then you're getting the benefit of having Ravens players in the later rounds to help you advance, even if they're not your Super Bowl team. But on DraftKings, where it's like it's 1 of 6, and the rooms are so chaotic and thirsty to advance out of the first round, I won't get as cute there and mix in the Raven stuff. Like on Underdog, I'll gladly throw in like, oh, Gus Edwards fell a bunch. Sure, welcome to the squad, Gus Edwards. Or like, I feel like I'm set to advance round 1. Hop on board, Odell Beckham. Like you'll carry me through round 2 or 3.
Yep. So this is going to be a little bit of a weird turn where I was going to suggest we could do like a Evans White thing.
That's what I was thinking too.
The tool likes us continuing to do like Elijah Mitchell, David Montgomery, bet on the teams we've already bet on. Thoughts on doing that?
I mean, I don't mind. I guess I'm indifferent, but I could go Demont here.
Yeah, I think it's Demont. And then can we tab over to wide receiver? I mean, maybe we do God, it just gets so gross so quick on DraftKings. Like maybe we just do but Chris Godwin's our third, and we don't really need a break structure here. Our third team is what I'm saying. I don't love Eli Mitchell with CMC is the thing.
Yep, we can go Laporta. He's probably Laporta.
What about Watson?
That's fine too.
Oops, I'm gonna screw this up.
Go.
You got it.
Fine with me.
Fast fingers.
Ooh,
Yeah, on our next pick, we could go Laporta or Jameson. I actually think like Laporta, I don't think he plays this week.
No,
But like the fact that he's close tells me we could be getting him back next week. Whereas like when he first suffered the injury, I was like, he's a Super Bowl prayer.
Yeah, I really like Jameson too. I'm pretty into Jameson.
I have a ton of Jameson on our dog.
That makes me feel good.
Well, it's your tool that I'm using, so.
Oh my god.
I will say, just because I use the tool some, and of course, like we're trying to like replicate my thought process with it, but I do want the caveat of like, it's not always best to just click the very top of the tool, because like the tool isn't designed to give you the optimal pick every time at the top, because like, number one, we don't know what's going on in your room. So like you really need to add that soft skill of like pay attention to your room, like kind of read what's going on.
The tool's also like not that complex. It's not like your odds of advancing out of round 1 are now up to this.
Exactly.
No, it's just like designed to give you a better player pool and like push you in a better direction. But
yeah, like the best thing it's doing is pruning you away from dead teams and like pruning you toward the best teams. But
it might also create, especially on DraftKings, it might still create dead teams by just like giving you no realistic shot to get through round 1. Like,
sure, yeah.
You know what? You should have like a 16% chance of getting through, and you could end up with like a 5%.
I mean, our first team we did, it would have steered us towards a 1 or 2% chance of making.
Yeah.
I was going to say the way that DK rooms are, I think that building good teams with bye week players, you're probably 5% would be like, right about what your expectation would be. So if you went and drafted, 1,000 5 or 6 bye week player teams, you might only get 50 through.
So they'll be very strong, but then the problem is that then you need to like be right about the NFL playoffs playing out at that point, and you might not be. Do you have any interest in Rachaad White here? I know he's off the beaten path, but
what's our?
I guess is Singletary still available? Because like, there's not a huge difference between Singletary, Rachaad White, and we have Nico Collins.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'd honestly
Singletary,
Laporta, Singletary. Do we need 4 running backs on this? I mean, I guess like if the Lions fail badly, our team doesn't advance, assuming they don't score. But
yeah, I just want to insulate us. I'm just trying to get us to round 2 with Christian McCaffrey for some reason. All right, let's take Singletary.
Yeah, sure.
We have a round 1 tight end with Kelsey. Positional limits, I suppose.
And I think that we can get Laporta falling too. So.
And also, like, Laporta isn't the linchpin to this team. Like, we have Kelsey, like we said, so it's fine if we don't.
The robots liked each other. The tool had Jameson at the top of the queue, and DraftKings timed out to Jameson. So it all works together. Rachaad White actually higher in the tool than Singletary. Interesting. Singletary is zeroed out. Oh, because he's our third. Why is Singletary zeroed out? Oh,
yeah, greater than 3 running backs.
That's probably right.
Yeah. And again, that's like in general, I think that logic is correct. But here with, where we've got Gibbs and Montgomery, so running back from the same team, and CMC's on bye, and again, it's DraftKings, so the tool doesn't know how buck wild the streets are about, people advancing.
Tell you what we actually need is to make sure we have a live Super Bowl, because we only have Kelsey, Watson, McCaffrey, and Mahomes.
We need 2 Chiefs, right?
And so now we're just double tap Chiefs, yeah.
Yep.
We've got 3 picks left.
Yeah, or if Jawan's there, he also counts toward our.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like the probability of Jawan scoring in the Super Bowl is like no different than the myriad
Justin
Chiefs
Watson
we
MVS
can tack on, and they help us round 1. So
yep.
I've been getting a lot less, Jawan Jennings lately, and
why?
Just because here it's like, what's the difference between Jawan Jennings and MVS in the Super Bowl?
You're going to project for within 1.5 to 2 points in the Super Bowl,
and you get that extra round.
And we on DraftKings,
and it's correlated with our quarterback too.
Also true.
I think we just take 3 Chiefs if we can get them.
Yep, that's what I would do. Okay.
I'd be down for Laporta and 2 Chiefs as well, but I just like the idea of getting a unowned Laporta into the next round, and maybe rounds beyond that.
Now, the ADPs are different from site to site on which Chiefs guy goes first, etc. But I don't know if you guys have noticed the Richie James flippening happening on Underdog, where he's kind of screamed up now. But it's pushed MVS down into undrafted range. Like MVS doesn't get drafted at all. And I was pretty off MVS earlier, but I'm clicking MVS now.
I'm clicking MVS too.
I was going to say, like 2 days ago, we talked about this, and you were like, it's all Richie James, baby.
Because it was then.
I mean, I was like 1 day ahead of you because I went for like 2 straight weeks. It was whenever we got the report that like they're trying to make Richie James a thing. I was like, of course they are. All their guys suck. And now the flipping has gone so far, like you said, where I'm like, we did have like 80% of the routes go to MVS the last time they played their starters. And he goes undrafted. Like with the Chiefs, though, the perfect example is like, dude, just take the guy who's undrafted. They're all the same.
Yep.
But one of them at this point is not drafted every time.
And my favorite thing is in the first gauntlet, I have like way more Richie James than the field will have. And now in the second gauntlet, I have way more MVS than the field will have. So
that's nice.
Please, if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, let one of those dart throws be the guy you need. Or neither of them, and I'll just...
I have way more Kadarius Toney than the field has. Is that good?
I also have a decent amount of Kadarius Toney, and it's crazy. I haven't taken that guy in like a month.
Well, you're about to take him right now, Kyle. Are you Toney or Laporta?
Get like 2 touchdowns in the first week, something ridiculous.
I would vote Laporta, but like it's not that big of a deal.
I'd lean Toney, but I understand. Too. I don't think Laporta is like a bad pick, but yeah, on DraftKings, it's like, does Toney give me 0.1 or 0.2% more advance rate? Let me squeeze that out here because I think like it sounds weird or like even almost super obvious, but on DraftKings where so many people are building nonsensically, it's like getting logically constructed team into the second round is so strong.
Yeah, like you'll see people stacking Chiefs and Dolphins.
Chiefs Dolphins. I see it all the
One, that game doesn't even look that good, but like 2, say they advance. That game shoots out and they advance. They show up with like half of their roster dead, whereas like we show up with half of their roster matched plus a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, I made the mistake of trusting a DK drafter in one of my early ones. Like, there's no way this guy is going to take Pat Mahomes. I needed him. It was a 49ers Chiefs thing. And I was I could easily push Mahomes here around the turn. This guy has Dolphins. He had already had Tyreek Hill.
It tells me so bad. I've seen people literally go Pat Mahomes, Kelsey, then Tua, Waddle, Mostert, H.M.
Yes.
What are you
That's
doing?
How this guy finished the draft. I needed a break after that one.
Dude, why? Why would you do that? I sent one of those to you. I was like, imagine this guy's face when he realizes who the round 1 matchups are.
He gets done with his draft and he's like, and now time to build my bracket.
Now time to see who made the playoffs. And God.
Yeah, I do.
Some
I do
love in here.
I love just thinking about the guys who haven't looked at the playoff bracket at all, and then they sit down, they're ready to watch the games this weekend. They're like, wait a minute, oh shit!
Wait, half my team can't mathematically advance.
I think for some of those guys, that doesn't even click until week 2 hits. They magically do advance out of round 1, and then week 2 hits, and they're like, wait a second.
No, I don't. I think for some of them, the realization never happens. They get to round 2, like, I got a lot of Chiefs in the round 2. Chiefs are pretty good. Then the Chiefs lose, and they get to round 3, like, what the hell happened? Oh man, variance sucks. This game is so random.
Brutal game.
Variance, man. It'll get you. Oh, man.
Better to be lucky than good, am I right?
So we got one more here. Ship chasing, the guy going in about 15 minutes. Sackreligious is going to be jumping on with us for that, as well as Drico. So join us over there when we're done here. But yeah, one more draft before we head over.
Pull up Stephanie's comment.
Oh, what? I missed it.
It's like the second most recent comment. No, do not put me in chat. I will get banned from the website after like 4 drafts.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a quick way for me to get banned from DraftKings forever. So
FanDuel used to have like a chat, just like it had like a social media aspect of the website in like 2014 or whatever, like at the start of the DFS boom. I vaguely remember it. I never used it.
I don't know if you guys
Sean
remember.
Siegel always tells a story of him getting like just like a ton of vitriol when he drafted his winning NFC team like back in the day.
The 0
like
RB. It wasn't. It was like 1 RB or whatever. But
it was a Jamal Charles 0 RB build that won it for him. But I think it was actually on another team that he had like Calvin. It was the true zero running back team that was like Calvin Johnson was like insanely strong team as well. He was just getting like a ton of vitriol from the chat. So
someone said we should be able to use emojis or like preset. Have you guys ever played Rocket League?
Yes.
Nice Rocket save. League's like cars and soccer, and there's preset nice.
Wait, are you guys into Lamar here?
Yeah, go for it. Yep. There's preset like nice save, good shot, and like obviously someone whiffs a save, and you are just mashing nice save, good save, nice save. That would be me on DraftKings. Like someone makes a terrible pick, great pick.
Well, I don't know if you remember on the old Draft app, they had like emojis that you could, or like reactions you could.
Dang, I don't remember that. And I
use
that.
Sorry, this is an interesting spot in the draft. I just want to highlight. So the tool recommends Kittle here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's correct. And you can see how far down he is in the list.
Yeah.
You're taking care of tight end. You're building out the most likely Super Bowl with Lamar. We're going to doing a similar thing to the first draft where we take a bunch of advanced rate guys. But this gives us, I mean, especially I think with the Ravens where the tight end who they have in the Super Bowl is like a little uncertain.
Yeah.
Getting Kittle is pretty sweet.
This. Yeah.
I also wonder how common or rather uncommon this pairing is because it doesn't line up with ADP really. So like, but also it lines up logically 100%. Like of course
it should line up with ADP because Kittle's ADP should be significantly higher.
Yeah, exactly. But like people just aren't. It's odd. Like I built one team where it was like this team, except I went Ayuk over Kittle because I was just falling in line with ADP, and within like 3 picks, I regretted it. I was like, yeah, Kittle. Like the value of having an elite tight end on a site that forces you to take a tight end is so strong that like it's surprising that this doesn't line up with ADP better.
Yep. And then I mean, you do have the dream of Ayuk coming back, which. It feels weird to pass on Zay Flowers twice, but I think we would happily do that if Ayuk was there.
Yeah, I think even if Ayuk's not there, you certainly don't have to take Zay on a site that so forces you to value advancing. Zay's good, but like they also do throw to Odell. We could still take we wouldn't really need to take likely, but like if we didn't have Kittle, for instance, Zay, yeah, he's the best Raven, but he's not the best Raven in a way that like Diggs is the best Bill, CeeDee's the best Cowboy. Like in the Super Bowl or in any game or in a string of games, dude, Odell could break off 3 long catches, 1 in each game, and Zay goes like 6 for 70, a 13-point game that's not that special. I don't think he has like the dominance over the targets. Go ahead.
We just lost him.
I think that's good for us. I think losing Zay there is good.
What do you like? Pacheco?
Pacheco's fine. This is not going to be what the tool likes, but again, reading the DraftKings rooms, I would be okay with Kyron Puka.
Yeah, I like that.
Knowing that I'm probably going to lose those guys to my Kittle pick in round 2, but it's like, yeah, I just I want to get some projectable points in the lineup here because the other thing is like
you just want Puka Cup.
Okay, good for him.
Fair enough.
So what do we do now? That's frustrating. I mean, we could pivot to Njoku and try to do the Browns side of this.
Could also pivot to Tyreek for like really projectable points in the first round.
Yeah,
it's either Tyreek or Rashi, right? It's whichever of those you prefer in that game.
Yeah, I'll say Tyreek is my pick because like I like our start. And like I said, like
And then we know that we have a late Mostert because DraftKings just like lets the Dolphins running backs go super
Very,
late,
very,
specifically
very late.
Mostert. Now we've got that as like a flex filler for late for us. So
A great read of the room there, Zach.
yeah, and then I was like, no, you don't.
No, I'm just kidding. These ears are wild.
Your spidey senses start tingling, and sometimes it's just not enough.
Where'd Tyreek go? Yeah, I was thinking we could do Pacheco and Rice there, but the downside of that is it doesn't set up a quarterback for you.
Right.
Yep.
So I actually really like the Kyron Puka Cup move. I think
It would have been
that's
so cool if we could have gotten
way cooler.
Also,
I like-
Kyron Puka Cup gives us a chance for a second Super Bowl in which, unless we're throwing on, like we specifically have to then say, okay, if we have Pacheco, then our next quarterback has to be NFC, which like,
Well, I tell you what,
optionality down the road.
I tell you what I do a lot with these is I grab AJ Brown and Hurts.
But aren't you worried about AJ Brown?
No,
Pat, I do the same thing. AJ Brown and Hurts go so late. I get
like they're
risk,
available,
but
Okay, but riddle me this: Mike Evans or AJ Brown?
sir,
AJ Brown because I can get Hurts, and this
Okay.
dude's going to take Flacco.
But you
This
can
guy's
get
going to
Baker
take
Mayfield.
Stafford like now.
Yeah,
also true. Yeah.
that's a good point.
His next pick is Stafford. So if we don't take him, he's getting him right now. So I think we just go AJ Brown and Hurts.
Let's do it.
It's probably good that one of us has Eagles in their portfolio, so we can.
I've got a lot of Eagles.
That's
Buddy,
good.
you do not want to. I don't even want to know my exposures on the Eagles. I don't look at it.
We have a better chance of shipping than collectively for like you.
We're like all organizing to get a ship, and some of us have to take the bullet on Eagles.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles. Now, here's the problem with the Eagles. They are the Eagles, but the nice part about them is that you can get Smith, Goddard, Swift, AJ Brown, and Hurts. Like, I mean, that's pretty sweet for advancing against the Bucs D. It's pretty good. And then you probably have them live in round 2. In this build, we've sort of boxed ourselves into losing an important piece because, like, either Kyron or the Eagles will play George Kittle in round 2, so that sucks.
But again,
this wasn't our primary.
Yeah, and on DraftKings, where we're doing heavy bye week teams, like we already can throw out rules when we're doing heavy bye week teams, and then when you're on DraftKings, it's like, and yeah, forget that you even threw the rules out in the first place. Like you never knew the rules. Just go to advance. You have to switch your brain into DK drafter mode after a certain point and just play for points.
Although we don't have that many of the Super Bowl that we're building. We only have 2 pieces of it.
We're gonna need Justice.
Odell. Justice is extremely important. Otherwise, we're playing Eli Mitchell.
Yeah. It's Justice is our new Jerick McKinnon. After for a while, we're like, just take Jerick McKinnon and all the late end of your Chief stacks. Now we have Justice.
You have no idea how happy it makes me to hear that, because this whole offseason, I was comping Justice Hill to Jerick McKinnon to people. It's like, it's the exact same situation. I think this is going to be the best offense in the league. You want their pass catching back. Like down the stretch, weird stuff happens. And God, I was so close to playing out that way. But
we want to go Odell Goddard and try and push
I think
Justice.
Goddard here to give us that second tight end, and we don't have to worry about the likely piece of it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
So just for people who are less familiar with the DraftKings streets, the reason Goddard there is so nice is that we have Kittle and Goddard. So we got Hurts. So, we've invested in the Eagles fairly significantly. So one of those 2 guys will make the Super Bowl or this team is dead. Now we don't have to do like Mark Andrews or Likely. We could go Odell or we could go Justice.
Oh, it's Justice. Justice is so important for us.
He's so important, right?
Otherwise, we have to take Eli Mitchell. And then if Eli Mitchell gets taken, then we are literally taking like Dalvin Cook or
Jordan Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll do this a lot with Justice too. It's like I'll try to push Gus and Justice as far as I can, And then when it's like I'm in the danger zone, they're like close enough to the top of the board, or like someone else has some Raven stuff they're building out where they could take them. I won't risk it anymore. Like I need this team to be coherent.
It's a binary. Like Jordan Mason's probably not scoring any points in the playoffs. Neither is Dalvin Cook. So it's like a binary. If this team has justice, it's pretty live. And if this team does not have justice, it's not zero, but damn near like zero live.
Right. Yeah. So there's lots of spots where I think the correct move is you just got to reach for justice sometimes. Like there are times too where I've seen someone just go on an absolute tear clicking Ravens. Like
Yep.
I'm like, oh God, justice in the 6th round. Here we go.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like if you want to get a little bit different of a build and just like get all the Ravens and then you tack on some of the later advance rate guys, because there are some like the Texans and I mean certainly the Steelers, although that's not all that.
You could also have some pretty early like NFC stacks where you're like, hell, like Justice goes off and Nelson Aguilar catches a long one, and I've tacked on a Ravens contingent to my Cowboy stack, for instance, and you can tack on what is a very live contingent of the best team in the AFC for relatively cheap. So there are like
that's a good point.
Justice teams can show up out of nowhere. Where like double taps Justice and Bateman, and now they have a live Ravens team, and you just didn't conceive of that until it was too late.
Yep. So you guys like oh wait, who just went? I feel like the person I was about to float just went.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Waddle, Smith, Swift.
I was gonna say two Eagles
in the queue. Yeah.
So
but
now we take the gift of Odell Beckham still being here.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we need just one for Super Bowl for 49ers, that is?
So we have Lamar, Kittle, Justice, and Odell. So we need what?
Just one more, right? Or two more?
Two more.
Two more.
Yep.
Wide receiver and a flex.
Could also throw Jennings up on the board. There you go.
All right. So we could go Mostert and then pray.
I think it's Mostert and then whatever of the dudes come back to us.
Yep. Love it.
Yeah.
God bless you, DraftKings. Like the Raheem Mostert thing is so like I know the Dolphins sentiment is bad. The vibes are bad on the Dolphins, but like it shouldn't be Raheem Mostert, rushing touchdown leader on the season.
Yeah, 20 touchdowns or something like that. 20 total touchdowns, I think, maybe 21 or I don't know.
21. Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy is absolutely stone cold free.
Yep.
Yep.
I have quite a bit of Dolphins now. For all the Eagles you guys have been adding when they fall, I have been adding Eagles for the record. There's like a little stretch for like a couple days here where I was like gobbling up the Eagles. And then I was like, I don't know. The vibes are just so bad. I kind of just want to like stick with my big old fade position and just write it out. And so now I'm hitting the Bucks extremely hard. I'm hitting Bucks and Texans really, really hard because I had a huge Browns position. And I was like, I don't want to be that overweight on the Browns relative to the Texans. Like I think that game is a toss up, but I was happy to do it for the Eagles. But yeah, the Dolphins also like, because I want to play for a lot of San Francisco, and so oftentimes you're basically stuck playing San Francisco through the Chiefs or the Dolphins. So.
Yeah, and sometimes you just get like sniped on one or two Chiefs, and you're like not going to worry about it. Like Dolphins are a good team, and you can take Dolphin right in the middle of your draft after getting two 49ers. So
yeah, I usually just do it when like Tyreek drops to the 3rd or 4th. I'm like, cool, this is the Dolphins room, like Dolphins to the Super Bowl. What a fun story.
It is fun to play it as Dolphins and 49ers,
right?
It actually is a fun story.
Oh yeah.
But we got to land the plane here, guys. Hopefully, God, it would suck to sign off and then get sniped on Nelson Aguilar. I'm just spinning. But we got to sign off because chip chasing starts in 1 minute. Thank you to Sackreligious. Thank you to Kyle for jumping on. Hope you guys get some use out of this DraftKings tool. I genuinely think these rooms are fun, even though they are kind of crazy. And even though the tool kind of only gets you so far, you got to think about round one advancement more than it's kind of designed to do. And on short notice, didn't get that as dialed in as we would like to. There's always next year, though. In the meantime, let's take down these DraftKings tournaments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.